What's up everyone, it's John, and today I'm going to install a sapphire crystal into this SNK809. I'm going to get started with getting my case back removal tool, and I'm going to try to remove this without marring up the case. This is the first time I've ever done this, so even if I mess up, the watch is fairly inexpensive, so I figured it'd be a good opportunity to learn how to replace crystals and stuff like that. So let's go ahead and give it a shot. I loosened it up last week before the crystal arrived, so it wasn't that hard to do it this time. But the first time that you would try to remove a case back, it might give you a lot more resistance. So just kind of be mindful of that. So let's go ahead and remove this case back. And you can see here the gasket is still intact and in good condition, so let's set that off to the side. So now I'm going to get my screwdriver with a little pointer at the end, and I'm going to look for a lever that has a dot on it. You might have to remove the rotor out of the way. It's that like half circle looking piece of metal, so we can kind of expose that lever to release the crown. So push down on that lever and then pull out the stem and the crown, and it should slide right out. Set that off to the side in a safe place, and then now we need to try to remove the movement. I got this lid from like a paint mixing jar that looks like it'll fit the movement, but I need to actually loosen it out because it's like kind of press fitted in there. So let me get like a flat head and try to find an area here around the black plastic edge right here. This is, I guess, the movement holder. I'm going to find an area that I can kind of pry against. Not too hard, but enough that I can kind of lift it on one end to try to, let it fall out. Let me try to get my microfiber cloth and tap it out. I've seen people try to do this and it just pops right out, but it wasn't doing it for me, so I think I need to kind of finesse it more and free it up a little bit. So I'm going to try to find different areas around the case on that black plastic that I can push or wedge against until I get a really good angle. And then once you find it, you'll see it kind of like off center like that. Then now you can let it fall out. I'll put this on this microfiber cloth, and then I'm going to try to cover it so no dust gets on that dial or the watch face. So I'm going to use the lid and then just put it on top and then set that off to the side. So now we should have the case with the back removed and just the stock Hardlex mineral that I need to pop off. So here's the watch press that I bought. It was off Amazon. It was $15, and it came with a bunch of these dies with different numbers on them. So I kind of off camera, sized it up, and I'm gonna go with this 38 facing up, and I'll screw that to the bottom thread. And then this one is a 30, and I'm gonna have that face up and screw it to the top thread. You can see that I, test fitted it against the watch face. The watch case facing down. So I'm going to pop the crystal downwards. So let's screw in this 30 die on the top, and then let's go and give it a shot. Okay, so you can see here that it won't even reach the bottom. It's too short. I'll put the watch case and see if it'll even reach it, and it doesn't. So you can see here we need some more lift on the bottom die. So what I've seen people do, like I think Minute Watch on YouTube, he does a lot of good tutorials on these Seiko mods. He stacked them. So we're going to use a bigger die. I think this one's a 44. Let me just make sure the lighting can capture the laser etch or whatever in the die itself. There you go, 44. And I'm going to put that on the bottom, face up. Then I'm going to stack the 138 on top of that. And now the watch case should fit and reach. You can see there. Right. So let's cross our fingers and give it a shot. Make sure it's flat so we won't push it at an angle, and then it should pop off. Yep, there we go. Came out pretty clean. Gaskets are still intact. And then let's take a look at the crystal. So this is stock one. You can see here it's not damaged. You know, still in good condition, so let's set that off to the side. And now let's get the replacement. So this is from Crystaltimes, model number or part number CT063. It's a double dome sapphire crystal with purple anti-reflective coating. I think on the website it was like $29.99, and then it had like $3 shipping, and it was from their new USA warehouse or something. So, you know, I think they were originally in China, I think, and then they opened up a distribution center or something in Irvine, California, which is, you know, maybe an hour away from me. So I placed an order and I got it in a couple days. So let's go ahead and get the little finger condoms. It comes with two, one for your index finger and another one for your thumb. So it kind of makes it easier for you to handle the sapphire crystal during the whole installation process. I mean, you try to do the best you can. I probably smudged it with one of my other fingers, like my ring finger or my pinky, but you know, it helps prevent. You can see there's a purple tinge as I kind of shift it in the light. So let's kind of test fit it against the watch case now. You can see that it is the right size, which is good. So now we're going to reverse the process. We're going to have the watch case face up, and then we're going to use the press to push down on the crystal. So we need to find the right size dies to, you know, make it an even application surface. So you can see here that this die kind of sits over the crystal, not really on the case. So what that will do is it'll kind of push it down into, I guess that it'll press fit it, and it'll press against the gasket that's sitting right below it. So we're going to just kind of try to keep it as flat as possible, and then using the dies we're going to try to apply even pressure along the edges of the sapphire, so it press fits into the watch case as evenly as possible. So we're going to use another microfiber cloth, and we're just going to prevent it from any marring or scratching from the dies. I don't think it should because it's sapphire, but let's go ahead and apply some light pressure just to kind of start it off. You know, we're not going to try to go ham on the first press, and we're just going to see how it sits. So it looks like it's, you know, already kind of press fit in there. It's not like falling off, so let's just keep going around the edges. You know, we're just going to go press and then reposition, press again, reposition, press again until you know, you can visually inspect it against the watch case and see if it's, you know, even enough. So I'm probably going to go through this process maybe 4 or 5 times, and we'll take a look, you know, once we've done it a few times, just to see where we're at, and we can kind of just eyeball it and see we might need to press it more on one end than another. So let's take a look. So you can see that on this side it's a little lifted, and then on this side it's a little more flat. So it looks like we need to push down more on this side. So let's put it back on the press and then just repeat the process. You know, I'm still not applying too much pressure because I don't want to risk shattering the Sapphire, because even though Sapphire is less scratch resistant, it's more shatter prone than like a mineral or a polycarbonate, because I think that one has more flex, but it has less scratch resistance. So, you know, it looks better. Still not 100%, but definitely good for my first try. You can see that there's the slight dome after the installation. Looks pretty nice. So now let's put the case back together. Oh, actually I still need to press it a little bit more, because I think I needed to make it a little bit more flat, or not flat, a little bit more even. So I gave it a couple more presses, repositioning it again, some slight pressure. Okay, now it looks good. So now let me get the case back, and we're going to put it back together again, and we're going to do a water test. So this watch, I believe, has 100-meter water resistance. It has gaskets on the case back and on the crown. So let's go ahead and screw it back. You know, we can use your hand, tighten it, and then, you know, bring it back with the case back tool to give it a good quarter turn to give that good seal. And then let's get the crown, and then we're going to push that back into that hole right there. It's not a screw down crown like the SKX's, which I thought it was, but it just kind of pushes in, and then there's a gasket on that ring too, so this should be water resistant theoretically. So I got a glass of lukewarm to hot water, and then we're going to dunk it. We're just going to wait, you know, 5-10 minutes, and we're going to check back on it and see how it went. So time has elapsed. Then let's take it out, and I got another cloth here. I'm just going to wipe it down. And let's inspect it for any fogging or moisture or condensation or any water droplets inside the case, and it looks like it passes. So with the Sapphire pressed in, you know, and the case back reinstalled and the crown reinstalled, it looks like it's good to go. So let's go ahead and prepare the case to put back the movement. So let's move the water out of the way so we don't accidentally spill anything. And now let's get the case back tool, and let's go ahead and remove the back again. Should be pretty easy because, you know, we've removed it a couple times already, so it should be loosened up. Let's take the crown out, put that off to the side, and let's remove this case back. Again, thanks for staying with me. I know it's a long video, but I kind of wanted to document everything. So now that the case back is removed, let's go ahead and get the movement back. Yeah, I shouldn't have done that. It fell right on the watch face, so I just kind of plopped it back on the microfiber, and then I'm going to put the watch case over the front of the watch face or the dial, and then I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to kind of use my screwdriver, and I'm going to lightly push it down and align it with the crown hole. It's at the 4 o'clock position, and then once I have that kind of lined up, I'm going to push on that black plastic movement border thing, and I'm going to just push it down gently so it's seated in the watch case again. You know, just kind of go, oops, I'm going to now try to put the crown back in. Looks like it's in. So let's get the crown. And when I tried to reinsert it, I thought I had to push down on the lever, you know, that same lever with that dot that we pushed on to release it. So I tried to push it in, and you know, it was jutting out a little bit, so I didn't want to force anything. So I took the screwdriver with that little precision pointy end thing and tried to push on that lever while kind of gently trying to insert the crown back in, and it wasn't going in. At least it wasn't seating properly. At least it didn't feel like it. So I kind of wanted to make sure that maybe the movement wasn't seated all the way in. So I tried to press around the black plastic movement holder thingy again, just to make sure that it wasn't like off-centered or misaligned. And then I kind of just finagled the stem again, and then it eventually pushed in like that. It sits flush. You can see it was spinning a little bit, so now let's put back the case back. And we're going to just kind of tighten everything down, and we're going to test it out. Let's get the case back tool, and then tighten it up. You know, not too tight, but tight enough to give the water resistance, because I don't want to crush the case back gasket. That should be good. Okay, so here it is, reassembled. Let's give it a wipe down. Just wanted to see how it looked, and it looks pretty good. Just inspecting for any, you know, dust that might have gotten in there. I mean, I couldn't find any right away. I'm pretty sure there is some. I'll probably notice it later, but I was just kind of proud of myself for getting it done. You can see the nice dome, the double dome, and the anti-reflective purple AR coating. Looks pretty nice. So I'm gonna test the crown now. Make sure that it's still functional. I mean, the movement is still running, but I wanted to make sure that I could adjust the time. Yeah, and it still works. So I'll push the crown to the one click and then try to change the date and the day, and those look like it worked. So let's just kind of go through its paces and go all the way around. Bring it all the way back to Tuesday the 2nd. I missed it. Let's go back again. Go back to 2. And then let's go back through the days back to Tuesday. And there we go. Push it back in. All good to go. So now let's go ahead and install close-up shots. So let's get the stock bracelet, and let's go ahead and reinstall it on the bracelet. Let's see how it is in its final form. So let's go ahead and grab the flathead pin, or the flathead for the precision screwdriver, so I could kind of push in the end links. I mean the spring bars for the end links. Don't worry, we're almost done, guys. Thanks for making it this long. Okay, so let's put in the other end, and this one's always tricky because the clasp is in the way, but you know, it shouldn't take too much more effort. And I think we're good. There we are. Final form. Wipe it down, and let's put it on the wrist, and look at that. So this started off as a bead blasted SNK809. You know, I got some mother's polish, and I gave the case and the bracelet a high polish, and then I bought the crystal, and it kind of transforms it into a new watch. It feels more expensive than it is. So I think overall, I think I paid 80 plus 30, so it's like $100 something, you know, a little over, less than 150 for sure. But that's it, guys. Let me know what you think, and thanks for watching. Till next time, have a good one.